Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure to be on hand here to celebrate Joe Smith getting his star on the Walk of Fame. I'm not sure what you have to do to get a star. I've been hearing that, like people have to sponsor you. You have to. I was walking on Hollywood Boulevard a long time ago, 20 or 30 years ago, and I looked down and someone had carved their own name with a linoleum line. It said Mary Crabtree. I liked that a lot. That appealed to me. It actually I had a lot of resonance with me because I think for everybody making music, back there in their mind somewhere they're hoping for that kind of recognition, that kind of reaching the heights. I inherited Joe from David Geffen, or he inherited me from David Geffen. He became the president of Elektra Records at a very crucial time for my career, and I got to say, it was also at a time where that record company, we had all sort of gone from Asylum to Elektra, and from a very small group of friends making records to a very big company. And I guess in the back of my mind, I was never really quite sure if I would have ever been signed by an executive like Joe Smith, because of the scope, because of the grandeur of the list of the people that he has been involved with. So I was very motivated to try to succeed for him. I was already a legend in my own bedroom, but I wanted to be, I wanted to be a success at Joe Smith's Elektra Records. And actually that's the way it went. Joe was very, very energetic. He was extremely supportive and buoyant and enthusiastic, and laid various steps out for me, things that he wanted me to do, to try to do. There were times when various record executives, like there was a time when there was no merchandising. There were no T-shirts with band's name on it. I'm trying to remember the guy's name now. I don't think he's in the record business anymore, but he looked at us and said, "No money for underwear." And he would say, because we all wanted a name on a T-shirt. I mean, these are the things that would be beyond having a star anywhere. We wanted a limousine, to the gig, or we wanted somebody to give us some shirts with our names on them. I think Joe helped me and the people that I was on that label with grasp the scope of what was going on there. And as I say, he was always supportive and always very friendly. He always struck me as like he had a bit of the Borscht Belt in him, And the most important thing to me was that I would have control of what I was doing. I almost don't care what happens after I'm done with it. That's a failing of mine. So I was very lucky to have someone like Joe receive my records and work with them and do the job of selling those records and doing the record business part of it. But that came around to sort of surprised him at another crucial moment in our relationship when he was in charge of renegotiating my contract. We renegotiated the deal, and he gave me everything I wanted, everything. I thought that's crafty. That's really crafty. He's giving me everything I want. And the night before we were going to sign this, I found something to object to. Well, it was really something I didn't know about. I found out at the last minute they were going to put out like a greatest hits package. I thought, well, this is not the time to be putting out hits. My past catalog is whatever it is, and I don't want them, working on it. I want to work my next record. I only cared about my newest songs, and so I went over there and I told him I wanted to. I didn't want him to have the right to put out my greatest hits. Well, we would have the right to put out my greatest hits whenever it was I decided it was okay. And honestly, that's really all I wanted. I just wanted control. I wanted to know that I could do that after I made my next record. I needed to know that they were going to work my new songs, and they were involved with me as a creative person, not as a commodity or as an entity. And as you probably all know, it's very easy to celebrate one's past in this town. Everything is nostalgia for one thing or another. And that goes on and on in your career because people come to you at various times and say, I grew up with you, or you were the soundtrack to my time in college, or whatever it was. And a friend of mine, a doctor I met, said, this nostalgia's got a bad rap. You resist it. You don't want to have anything to do with nostalgia but think about it. Whatever that feeling you have for that time in your life when you were coming into your own, when the world was was your oyster, when you were able to achieve what you wanted to achieve, that's a force in you, and that's a thing that will keep you alive, and it's a thing that will keep you creative and going forward in your life. And so that's why people love the music that they loved when they were young and when that's what's going on in their life. The challenge is to find the music the new music that makes that makes that period of your time that now as creative a time as then. But I want to thank you, Joe, because you always gave me what you allowed me to have control of my destiny, and you also allowed me to see what was possible, various options and choices, and always supported me, and always were a gentleman, and never did any of that underhanded shit that some of your successors did. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. It's been great to be on hand to celebrate you getting your richly deserved star on the Walk of Fame.